Your room, your unfinished messages, your silent minutes, and even the moment you stop eating are revealing something about you. Every day, your smallest habits leave clues about the person you are becoming. Most people ignore those clues until life begins to feel heavy, distracted, and out of control. But 7 tiny Japanese practices can reverse that pattern without forcing you to rebuild your entire routine. One takes only a few seconds, yet it can decide whether you control your day or your day controls you. Another reveals why unfinished tasks continue draining your energy even when you are resting. And by the final lesson, you may discover that one ordinary action has been exposing your true character every single day. Lesson 1. Reset one visible space before you touch your phone. Most people lose control of their day within the first few minutes. They open their eyes, they reach for the phone, they check messages, they read the news, they watch short videos. Before they even leave the bed, their mind is already full of other people's words, problems, opinions, and demands. The day has started, but they did not choose how it started. Their phone chose for them. A small Japanese-inspired habit can change this. Before touching your phone, reset one visible space. It can be your bed, your desk, the table beside you, one shelf, one corner of the room. You do not need to clean the whole house. You do not need to spend 30 minutes organizing everything. Just choose one place that your eyes can clearly see. Then put it in order. Fold the blanket, place the pillow properly, remove the empty cup, put the book back, throw away the small piece of rubbish. This action may look too simple to matter, but it sends an important message to your brain. It says, I do not begin my day by reacting. I begin my day by creating order. This is your first small victory. And the first victory matters because it changes the direction of the next action. When you begin the morning with scrolling, your mind becomes passive. You receive whatever appears on the screen. You react to whatever other people send you. But when you begin by improving your surroundings, your mind becomes active. You make a choice. You complete an action. You see a result. The room may not be perfect, but one part of it is better because of you. That feeling creates momentum. Imagine 2 people waking up at the same time. The first person checks the phone for 20 minutes. They see bad news. They compare their life with someone else's life. They read a stressful work message. They get out of bed already feeling behind. The second person leaves the phone alone. They make the bed. They open the curtain. They place yesterday's clothes where they belong. This takes less than 3 minutes. But the second person has already practiced discipline, attention, and control. The difference is not the clean bed. The difference is the identity created by the action. One person begins as a consumer. The other begins as a creator. Your environment also speaks to your mind. A crowded table can quietly make your thoughts feel crowded. A messy bed can make the room feel unfinished. Objects that are out of place can keep reminding your brain that something still needs attention. You may not notice these signals clearly, but your mind notices them. That is why resetting one visible space can create calm. You are reducing one source of mental noise. There is also a deeper reason this habit works. Many people wait to feel motivated before they take action, but motivation is unreliable. Some mornings you feel strong. Some mornings you feel tired. Some mornings you feel hopeful. Some mornings you do not want to do anything. A tiny reset does not require strong motivation. It is small enough to do even on a difficult day. That is what makes it powerful. You are teaching yourself. My feelings can influence me, but they do not have to control every action. Use a simple rule. Choose your reset space before going to sleep. Do not decide in the morning. Your space might be the bed, the desk, the kitchen counter, the chair where clothes usually collect, the area beside the front door. When morning comes, reset that place before opening any app. Do it slowly. Do it properly. Then pause for a few seconds and look at the result. Let your brain register the change. Something was disordered. You touched it. Now it is better. This is not only cleaning, it is training. You are training yourself to create order before consuming noise. You are training yourself to complete something before asking for entertainment. You are training yourself to direct your attention instead of giving it away. After several days, you may notice something surprising. The habit begins to spread. After making the bed, you may naturally drink water. After clearing the desk, you may naturally sit down to work. After organizing one corner, you may feel less willing to create a mess somewhere else. A small act of order makes the next act of order easier. Do not make the habit too large. That is important. If you tell yourself to clean the entire room every morning, you may do it for 2 days and stop. The goal is not to impress yourself. The goal is to create a habit that survives busy mornings, tired mornings, and bad mornings. One visible space, one completed action, one clear result. Before the world enters your mind, prove that you can influence your world. Lesson 2. Turn one important action into a fixed kata. Many people know what they should do. They know they should exercise. They know they should study. They know they should write. They know they should prepare healthy food. They know they should work on an important project. Their problem is not a lack of information. Their problem is that they keep negotiating with themselves. They ask, when should I begin? Where should I sit? What should I do first? Should I do it now or later? Which method should I use? Every question creates another chance to delay. In Japan, the word kata can describe a fixed form or repeated pattern. You may see it in martial arts. A movement is practiced in the same order again and again. The student does not invent a new beginning each day. The form has already been decided. This idea can be used in daily life. Choose one important action, then give it a fixed form. For example, imagine that you want to read every day. A week plan sounds like this. I will read when I have time. A fixed kata sounds like this. After dinner, I will sit in the chair near the window, put my phone in another room, and read 5 pages. Now the action has a trigger. It has a place. It has a starting step. It has a minimum amount. You do not need to make 4 new decisions every evening. You simply enter the pattern. This saves mental energy. A great deal of procrastination happens before the real task begins. The work itself may not be very difficult, but the beginning feels unclear. You move around, you check your phone, you prepare too much, you search for the perfect method, you wait for the right mood. A fixed kata removes the fog around the beginning. Suppose you want to write. Your kata could be, at 7 in the morning, sit at the desk. Place a glass of water on the left side. Open the same document. Read the last paragraph. Write for 20 minutes. The glass of water is not magical. The chair is not magical. The exact time is not magical. The power comes from repetition. The brain begins to connect these signals with the action. The chair means writing. The shoes mean walking. The open notebook means studying. The prepared vegetables mean cooking. Over time, the start becomes easier because it becomes familiar. Professional performers understand this. Athletes often prepare in a repeated order. Musicians follow a warm-up routine. Skilled workers arrange their tools before beginning. These actions are not empty rituals. They help the mind move from ordinary life into focused work. You can create the same effect, but begin with only one important activity. Do not create a complicated kata for your entire life. Choose the action that would make the biggest difference if you did it regularly. It might be studying English, exercising, planning your day, practicing a skill, writing content, reading, preparing for work. Now answer 4 simple questions. When will I do it? Where will I do it? What will be my first physical action? What is the smallest version that still counts? The first physical action is very important. Work on my business is not a physical action. Open the sales document is a physical action. Become healthy is not a physical action. Put on my walking shoes is a physical action. Improve my English is not a physical action. Play 1 lesson and repeat the first 5 sentences is a physical action. Your mind can resist a large goal, but it is harder to resist one clear movement. There will still be days when you do not feel ready. On those days, do the smallest complete version. If your normal kata is 30 minutes of exercise, do 5 minutes. If your normal kata is 2 pages of writing, write 1 paragraph. If your normal kata is 20 vocabulary words, study 5. Do not cancel the pattern simply because you cannot perform the full version. Protect the relationship between the signal and the action. This is how consistency becomes stronger than mood. Many people make another mistake. They change the method too quickly. They try one routine on Monday, a different routine on Wednesday, a new application on Friday, a new productivity system the next week. They remain excited, but they never become skilled. A kata becomes powerful through repetition. Repeat it long enough for the beginning to feel normal. You can improve the pattern later, but first, allow it to become part of you. Think of water creating a path through stone. One drop does almost nothing, but repeated drops follow the same path. The path slowly becomes deeper. Your repeated action does the same thing inside your life. Each time you follow your kata, you strengthen a mental path. Beginning becomes easier. Resistance becomes weaker. The action becomes part of your identity. You stop saying, I am trying to become someone who studies. You begin to think, this is what I do after dinner. That small change is powerful. A dream depends on inspiration. A kata depends on a pattern. Inspiration may visit you. A pattern is waiting for you every day. Lesson 3. Close one open loop before it follows you into tomorrow. Some tasks take only a few minutes, but people carry them for many days. A message needs a reply. A bill needs to be paid. An appointment needs to be booked. A document needs one correction. A broken item needs to be moved or repaired. A decision needs to be made. The task is small, but every time you remember it, it takes a little piece of attention. This is an open loop. An open loop is anything unfinished that continues asking for space in your mind. You may be eating, but suddenly remember the message. You may be working, but suddenly remember the payment. You may be resting, but suddenly remember the form. You are not doing the task, yet the task is still using your energy. One open loop may not feel heavy, but many open loops create mental pressure. Your mind begins to feel crowded. You may say, I am tired, even when you have not done much physical work. The tiredness can come from carrying too many unfinished things. The answer is not to complete everything in one night. That idea creates more pressure. Instead, close one open loop before it follows you into tomorrow. Choose one unfinished item. Complete it, remove it, decide it, schedule it, or clearly reject it. A loop is not closed only by finishing the work. Sometimes it is closed by making a clear decision. Imagine that someone invites you to an event. You do not want to attend, but you do not reply. For 4 days, the message remains in your mind. The loop can be closed with one polite sentence. Thank you for inviting me, but I will not be able to attend. The problem is gone, not because you completed a large task, because you ended uncertainty. Unclear decisions consume energy. A clear no can create more peace than a weak maybe. Start by making a simple list. Do not create a perfect task system. Take a piece of paper and write, what keeps returning to my mind? Write every small, unfinished thing you remember. Do not organize the list yet. Just remove the items from your head and place them on paper. Your list might include, reply to Ahmed, cancel the unused subscription, return the borrowed book, replace the broken light, book the appointment, send the file, choose the date, clean the bag, pay the fee. When the list is visible, choose one loop using this rule. Which small task is creating more mental noise than its actual size? That is often the right one to close. Maybe the task takes 7 minutes, but you have thought about it 20 times. Complete it now. When it is finished, mark it clearly. The mark matters. Your brain needs to see that the loop is closed. This habit teaches an important lesson. Mental peace is not created only by rest. Sometimes peace comes from completion. You can lie on a sofa for 2 hours and still feel tense because unfinished tasks are sitting in the background. Then you send one difficult message, and suddenly you can breathe more easily. The action removed pressure that rest could not remove. There are 4 useful ways to close a loop. First, do it. Complete the task now if it is small and possible. Second, schedule it. Choose a real date and time. Later does not close a loop. Thursday at 4 gives the task a home. Third, delegate it. Ask the correct person clearly and include what they need. Fourth, delete it. Some tasks remain open because you are afraid to admit they are not important. You keep them because you think you should do them. But not every idea deserves completion. Sometimes the strongest choice is to remove it. Do not confuse closing loops with becoming busy all evening. The purpose is not endless work. The purpose is to stop small unfinished matters from stealing tomorrow's attention. Set a simple evening rule. Before ending the day, ask, "What can I close in 10 minutes?" Then choose one thing. Reply to the message. Put the object where it belongs. Prepare the document. Make the payment. Choose the answer. If the loop cannot be completed in 10 minutes, decide the next physical step. For example, you cannot complete the full medical process tonight, but you can find the clinic's number and place it beside your phone. You cannot finish the whole presentation, but you can write the 3 main headings. You cannot repair the machine, but you can send a photo to the repair shop and ask for an appointment. A clear next step reduces uncertainty. The loop may not be fully closed, but it is no longer floating without direction. Be careful with emotional loops, too. Sometimes you keep replaying a conversation. You imagine better answers. You become angry again. You ask why the person said those words. You may not be able to change the past, but you can decide what the experience means for your future. Write one lesson. Choose one boundary. Decide whether a conversation is needed. Then stop feeding the same memory every night. Not every loop is closed through another person. Some are closed by a decision you make alone. One loop each day may sound small, but imagine closing 365 loops in 1 year. That is 365 pieces of mental weight removed from your life. You do not need to solve your entire life tonight. Just do not allow every unfinished thing to travel with you into tomorrow. Lesson 4. Stop at 80%, not only with food. Many problems do not begin because something is bad. They begin because something good continues for too long. Food is necessary, but too much food creates discomfort. Work is valuable, but too much work destroys health and attention. Entertainment can help you relax, but too much entertainment makes you feel empty. Talking can build connection, but too much talking can create regret. Spending can improve life, but too much spending creates pressure. The Japanese and Okinawan idea of hara hachibu teaches people to stop eating before they feel completely full. The basic meaning is simple. Eat until you are around 80% satisfied. Do not continue until your body feels heavy. But this principle is larger than food. It teaches the skill of stopping before enough becomes too much. Most people think discipline means forcing yourself to begin. Sometimes it does. But another kind of discipline is knowing when to stop. It is easy to continue when something still feels pleasant. One more video, one more plate, one more hour of work, one more purchase, one more argument. The danger is that the cost often arrives later. The extra food feels good now. The discomfort comes later. The extra scrolling feels easy now. The lost sleep hurts tomorrow. The extra angry sentence feels powerful now. The damaged relationship appears later. Stopping at 80% protects your future self. The first step is to notice the moment when the need has already been met. Ask yourself, am I continuing because I need more, or because I have not decided to stop? This question can change many parts of your life. While eating, pause before taking more food. Wait for a moment. Your body may already be satisfied, even if your mouth wants another taste. While watching videos, pause after one useful or enjoyable video. Ask whether another one will improve the evening or simply consume it. While working, notice when the quality of your thinking begins to fall. More time does not always mean better work. Sometimes a fresh mind tomorrow can finish in 30 minutes what a tired mind struggles with for 2 hours. While speaking, notice when your main point has already been made. Many people weaken a strong message by continuing to explain it. They repeat themselves. They add emotional words. They say something unnecessary. Then the conversation changes from useful to harmful. Stop while your words still have value. The 80% rule also protects enjoyment. When you stop before complete exhaustion or excess, you leave with a positive feeling. You can return tomorrow with energy. A musician who practices until the hands hurt may begin to hate the instrument. A learner who studies until the brain is empty may begin to hate the subject. A worker who gives every drop of energy today may have nothing useful tomorrow. Leaving a little energy is not laziness. It is intelligent control. Think of a battery. You would not want every important device to reach zero before charging it. Yet many people do this with their bodies and minds. They work until they cannot think. They socialize until they become irritated. They exercise until they cannot move comfortably. They stay awake until their eyes hurt. Then they wonder why the next day feels difficult. Try this technique. Choose one area where you often go too far. Do not choose 5 areas at once. Maybe it is food. Maybe it is phone use. Maybe it is work. Maybe it is talking. Maybe it is shopping. Before beginning, decide your stopping point. For example, I will watch 2 episodes. I will work until 6. I will buy only the item on the list. I will eat slowly and stop when I feel comfortable. I will explain my point once, then listen. A stopping point is easier to follow when it is chosen before desire becomes strong. Do not wait until the 3rd hour of scrolling to decide how long you should scroll. Decide before opening the app. Do not wait until you are emotionally angry to decide which words are acceptable. Choose your rule before the argument. Do not wait until your body is exhausted to decide when work should end. Create an ending time while your mind is still clear. You can also use a physical pause. Put the fork down. Stand up from the desk. Close the application. Place the bank card back in your wallet. Take one slow breath before replying. A physical pause breaks the automatic pattern. It gives your wiser mind time to return. At first, stopping early may feel uncomfortable. You may feel that something is unfinished. That is normal. You have trained your mind to continue until an outside force stops you. The food ends, the phone battery becomes low, your body becomes exhausted, the other person leaves. This habit teaches you to become the person who chooses the ending. That is a form of freedom. You do not need to remove every pleasure from life. You need to enjoy things without becoming controlled by them. You do not need to stop working hard. You need to work in a way that allows you to return with strength. You do not need to remain silent. You need to recognize when another sentence will create more damage than value. The person who cannot stop is not fully in control. Real control is being able to say, "This was good, this was enough. I will leave before enough becomes too much." Lesson 5. Protect a small empty space in your day. Many people are afraid of empty moments. When they stand in a line, they check their phones. When they eat, they watch something. When they walk, they listen to something. When they sit alone, they search for something to read. Every quiet space is quickly filled. The mind receives words, sounds, pictures, messages, news, music, and opinions from morning until night. Then people say, "I cannot think clearly. I do not know what I really want. I feel tired for no clear reason." The problem may not be a lack of information. The problem may be that the mind has no space to process the information it already has. The Japanese idea of ma refers to meaningful space. It can be the space between objects, the pause between sounds, the silence between words. It is not useless emptiness. The space helps everything around it become clearer. Imagine music with no pauses. Every note continues without a break. It becomes noise. Imagine a room where every small area is filled with furniture. Even beautiful objects begin to feel heavy. Imagine a conversation where nobody pauses. Nobody can truly listen. Space gives shape to what is present. Your day needs space too. Protect a small empty period. 10 minutes is enough to begin. During these 10 minutes, do not consume anything. No phone, no music, no podcast, no television, no book, no conversation, no task that demands strong attention. You can sit near a window, walk slowly, drink tea, look at the sky, breathe. The purpose is not to perform a perfect meditation. The purpose is to stop adding new input. At first, the empty space may feel uncomfortable. Thoughts will appear. You may remember unfinished work. You may feel bored. You may reach for your phone without thinking. This does not mean the habit is failing. It means you are finally noticing how strongly your mind depends on stimulation. Stay for the full 10 minutes. Let the thoughts come and go. Do not fight them. Do not try to solve everything. Notice what repeatedly returns. Sometimes your mind has been trying to speak all day, but noise kept interrupting it. In silence, you may notice a decision you have been avoiding, a feeling you have been hiding, a problem that is simpler than you thought, an idea that could improve your work, a need for rest, a conversation you should have, an activity you no longer enjoy. Silence does not always give an immediate answer, but it creates the conditions in which an honest answer can appear. Many useful ideas arrive when people are walking, showering, or sitting quietly. Why? Because the mind is no longer busy reacting to new material. It can connect what it already knows. It can sort experiences. It can recognize patterns. It can move beyond the loudest thought. This habit also improves attention. When you fill every short pause with a screen, your mind learns that boredom must be removed immediately. Then ordinary work becomes difficult. Reading a long page feels slow. Listening to someone feels slow. Practicing a skill feels slow. Your brain begins demanding constant change. A period without stimulation rebuilds your ability to remain present. Use a clear rule. Choose the same empty space every day. For example, 10 minutes after lunch, 10 minutes before starting work, 10 minutes after returning home, 10 minutes before sleeping. Place the phone outside your reach. Do not keep it in your hand while trying not to use it. Make the correct action easier by changing the environment. During this time, you can ask one gentle question: what is my mind carrying today? Do not force an answer. Simply notice. Maybe your mind is carrying pressure. Maybe it is carrying anger. Maybe it is carrying excitement. Maybe it is carrying a decision. Name it without judging it. This can prevent hidden feelings from controlling your behavior. A person who does not recognize stress may become rude. A person who does not recognize sadness may continue scrolling for hours. A person who does not recognize fear may keep delaying an important action. Awareness gives you a choice. You can also use the empty space before an important decision. Do not make every decision immediately after receiving information. Step away. Walk without your phone. Allow the first emotional reaction to become quieter. Then ask, what will still make sense tomorrow? Fast reactions often protect the ego. Quiet reflection often protects the future. Do not turn the empty space into another performance. You do not need special clothes. You do not need candles. You do not need perfect posture. You do not need to tell anyone. Just create a small area of your day where nothing new is entering your mind. That space belongs to you. The world will always offer more noise, more videos, more advice, more arguments, more information, more reasons to react. Wisdom does not come only from adding more. Sometimes wisdom appears when you stop adding and finally listen. Lesson 6. Perform Hansei before you blame your circumstances. When something goes wrong, the mind quickly searches for someone to blame. The customer was difficult. The boss was unfair. The traffic was terrible. The family did not support you. The market changed. The other person misunderstood. Sometimes these things are true. Circumstances do matter. Other people do make mistakes. Life can be unfair, but if every problem is always someone else's fault, you lose the power to improve. The Japanese practice of Hansei means honest reflection. It means looking back at an experience and asking, what could I have done better? This is not the same as hating yourself. It is not saying that everything is your fault. It is not accepting blame for another person's harmful behavior. Hansei is the decision to search for your part because your part is the area you can change. Imagine that a project fails. One person says, the team was useless. Another person says, the team had problems, but I also gave unclear instructions and waited too long to check the progress. The second person is not weak. The second person has found a lesson. The first person protects the ego. The second person improves the future. A protected ego feels comfortable for a moment, but it repeats the same mistakes. Honest reflection may feel uncomfortable for a moment, but it creates growth. Use 3 simple questions at the end of a difficult day. First, what happened? Describe the event without dramatic language. Do not say, everything was a disaster. Say, I arrived 20 minutes late, missed the first part of the meeting, and could not present my idea clearly. Facts are easier to learn from than emotional stories. Second, what was my part? Maybe you delayed preparation. Maybe you ignored a warning. Maybe you became defensive. Maybe you assumed instead of asking. Maybe you promised too much. Maybe you stayed silent when you should have spoken. Maybe you continued speaking when you should have listened. Be specific. Do not say, I am terrible. That is not reflection. That is self-attack. Say, I did not prepare the numbers. Now the problem can be corrected. Third, what will I do differently next time? Choose one action. I will prepare the numbers the day before. I will ask for clarification before beginning. I will leave home 15 minutes earlier. I will wait before replying when I feel angry. I will check the work halfway through instead of at the end. A lesson without a future action is only an interesting thought. Hansei becomes valuable when it changes behavior. This practice can transform arguments. After a disagreement, most people repeat the other person's mistakes. They say, she raised her voice. He did not listen. They misunderstood everything. Those facts may be true, but ask, what did I contribute? Maybe you used a disrespectful tone. Maybe you chose the wrong time. Maybe you expected the other person to understand something you never clearly explained. Maybe you entered the conversation to win, not to solve the problem. Again, this does not excuse bad behavior from others. It simply prevents their mistake from hiding yours. There is great strength in saying, that person was wrong, and I still have something to learn. You can use Hansei after success too. Success can hide mistakes because the final result was good. A business earns money, but the team becomes exhausted. A student passes the exam, but studied in an unhealthy way. A video performs well, but the production process was disorganized. Do not assume that a good result means every method was good. Ask, what worked? What was wasteful? What should be improved before repeating this? This prevents success from creating carelessness. Keep your reflection short. 5 honest minutes are better than 1 hour of overthinking. The purpose is not to punish yourself. The purpose is to collect the lesson and move forward. Write 3 lines. What happened? My part. Next time. That is enough. Do not use reflection to replay pain all night. Once you have found the lesson and chosen the next action, stop. You are not required to suffer in order to prove that you learned. There is another important rule. Do not perform Hansei while your emotions are extremely high. When you are very angry, ashamed, or afraid, your thinking may become unfair. You may blame everyone, or you may blame yourself for everything. Wait until your body is calmer. Take a walk, drink water, sleep if needed, then reflect with a clear mind. Honest reflection requires balance. You are not completely innocent in every situation. You are also not responsible for everything that happens. Find the part that belongs to you. Improve that part. Release the rest. People who avoid self-reflection often repeat the same year many times. The names change, the jobs change, the relationships change, but the same problems return because the person never asks a difficult question. What am I doing that helps create this result? That question can feel painful, but it can also return your power. When the problem is always outside you, you must wait for the world to change. When you discover one part inside your control, you can begin today. Lesson 7. Leave one ordinary thing better than you found it. People often save their best effort for moments that appear important. They prepare carefully for an interview. They clean before guests arrive. They work hard when the boss is watching. They speak politely to someone powerful. But ordinary life is not built from rare important moments. It is built from repeated small actions. How you place the chair. How you wash the cup. How you answer a simple message. How you finish a small task. How you treat someone who cannot reward you. How you leave a place after using it. The final habit is simple. Leave one ordinary thing better than you found it. You enter a room and see a chair out of place. Move it back. You use the kitchen. Leave the counter cleaner than before. You open a document. Improve one unclear sentence. You borrow an object. Return it in better condition. You finish a meeting. Send a clear summary so everyone knows what happens next. You notice confusion. Add order. You notice carelessness. Add care. The action may be so small that nobody thanks you. That is part of the training. You are learning to create quality without needing applause. Many people perform well only when recognition is available. If nobody is watching, their standards fall. If the task feels small, they become careless. If the customer is not important, they give less attention. If the work is hidden, they rush. This creates a divided character. One version appears in public, another version appears in private. A stronger person keeps a basic standard even when nobody is watching, not because every task has equal importance, but because every task is shaping the person who performs it. The shirt you fold is not only a shirt, it is a chance to practice care. The message you write is not only a message, it is a chance to practice clarity. The floor you leave clean is not only a floor, it is a chance to practice responsibility. Each small action is a vote for the person you are becoming. This idea is close to craftsmanship. A craftsperson does not ask only, how quickly can I finish? They also ask, how well can this be done? You do not need to become slow and perfect in everything. Perfection can create delay. The goal is not to turn every tiny action into a major project. The goal is to improve one detail beyond the minimum. Suppose you are replying to an email. The minimum is to send an answer. Leaving it better may mean making the answer easier to understand. You add the correct date. You explain the next step. You remove an unclear sentence. The task takes 1 extra minute, but it saves confusion for another person. Suppose you use a shared room. The minimum is to leave. Leaving it better may mean throwing away 1 piece of rubbish or straightening the chairs. Suppose you prepare a meal. The minimum is to put food on the plate. Leaving it better may mean cleaning while you cook, so the next person does not enter a mess. These actions create trust. People begin to know that things improve when they pass through your hands. Your work becomes easier to use. Your words become easier to understand. Your presence reduces disorder instead of increasing it. That reputation is valuable. It cannot be created through one impressive performance. It is created through hundreds of ordinary moments. This habit also changes how you see life. Instead of asking, what can I get from this place? You begin asking, what can I improve here? Instead of entering every situation as a consumer, you enter as a contributor. A consumer notices what is missing and complains. A contributor notices what is missing and improves one part. This does not mean accepting every responsibility. You do not need to solve every problem. You do not need to clean every room. You do not need to rescue everyone. Choose one ordinary thing, make it slightly better, then continue with your day. Use the one detail rule. Whenever you complete a common task, ask, what one detail can I improve? After writing, improve the title. After cleaning, arrange the final object. After speaking, confirm the next step. After using something, return it properly. After learning, write 1 sentence that helps you remember. One detail prevents the habit from becoming too large. It also trains your eyes to notice quality. Over time, you begin seeing what other people miss. You notice the loose handle, the unclear instruction, the repeated error, the unnecessary step, the object placed in the wrong location. This attention can improve your home, work, relationships, and skills. It can also give meaning to ordinary days. Not every day contains a major achievement. You will not receive an award every week. You will not complete a life-changing project every morning. Some days are filled with normal work. Washing, replying, preparing, correcting, waiting, organizing. But a normal day does not have to be an empty day. It becomes valuable when you leave small signs of care behind you. At the end of the day, ask, what is better because I was here? Maybe the answer is small. The room is cleaner, the plan is clearer, the customer feels respected. The child feels heard, the document is easier to understand, the tool is back in its proper place. The next morning is already prepared. These are not dramatic victories, but they are evidence of character. A strong life is not built only by doing extraordinary things. It is built by refusing to treat ordinary things carelessly. When you improve what is in front of you, even by 1 small degree, you are doing more than completing a task. You are practicing attention. You are practicing respect. You are practicing responsibility. You are becoming someone whose presence quietly makes life better. A massive life does not always begin with a massive decision. Sometimes it begins with 1 space you reset, 1 task you finish, 1 moment you choose to stop, 1 quiet minute you protect. Do not try to change everything tomorrow. Choose 1 habit. Practice it until it becomes part of who you are. Because your future is not built only by the big things you do once. It is built by the tiny things you refuse to ignore every day.